Hi, my name is Sushant Rana and I'm an art conservator from INTACH Conservation Institute, Delhi of Art and Material Heritage Division. I am sharing a case study on the conservation and restoration work executed on the historic stone structure of Sh.Bhutnath Temple. The project was initiated under the guidance of Mr. Nilab Sinha, Principal Director, ICI A&MH Division, and under the supervision of Mr. Dharmender Mishra, Director Technical, ICI A&MH. The project is divided in three phases, starting with removal of paint layer, followed by removal of marble flooring, and the last of installation of model lights. The project started from October 2012 and finished on May 2013. A rare archival image of Sri Bhutnath temple showing the structure surrounded by commercial and residential buildings from its past. But now, in modern times, the temple hides behind the modern buildings constructed around it. Like most of the Hindu temple, Sri Bhutnath temple is also east facing. The temple is approximately 50 feet high. It follows a nagara style of architecture with a kalash and amlak on top, followed by the shikhar or the centrum centorum or the garbhagriha at the bottom. This is connected with a mandap in front of the garbhagriha. The temple is dedicated to Lord Shiva and was built by Raja Ajber Sen in the year 1526 CE, which also marks the beginning of the establishment of the Mandi town. Sri Bhutnath Temple is located in the historic town of Mandi, which lies in the mountain state of Himachal Pradesh. Mandi town is situated on the banks of river Beas and is also referred as Chota Kashi due to the presence of 84 historic temples mainly dedicated to Lord Shiva. The palace of Mandi town is just 100 meters east from Sri Bhutnath temple. Victoria Bridge, built during the British rule on river Beas, is 100 meters north from the temple. Mahashivratri, which is celebrated every year in the month of Fagun according to the Hindu calendar, is the main festival of the region. On this day, devotees worship Lord Shiva, observe a strict fast, and do various religious activities to please Lord Shiva. Devotees further believe that by pleasing Lord Shiva on the auspicious Shivratri day, a person is absolved by past sins and is blessed with moksha or salvation. As the main guardian deity of the region is Sh.Bhutnath, during this festive time, the temple receives an average of more than 1000 devotees per day. This is the floor plan of Sri Bhutnath temple complex showing the two east facing entrance to the temple, the Garbhagriha and the Mandap with the monolithic stone sculpture of Nandi. When the INTACH team arrived, the team noted many previous interventions as shown in the front view of the temple. The entire wall surface of the temple was covered with enamel paint. This was seen both on the exterior and the interior walls of the temple. The stone sculpture of Nandi was also covered with enamel paint as shown in the image. A small temple was added in the recent times adjacent to the entrance of the mandap and it was covered with white tiles. The tiles were also pasted on the front side of the temple as shown in the image. The team noted other major recent interventions to the temple architecture. The floor plan of the temple complex was covered with marble and an iron gate was also added to the mandap entrance. The project was initiated to remove the enamel layer present on the surface of the stone temple. With this, some solvent tests were conducted in several areas of the temple. This is a context image showing the western exterior side of the Garbhagriha where on the lower side these tests were conducted. This is the macro image showing removal of enamel layer and exposing a lime plaster underneath. Also, a multiple layer of enamel and lime wash was observed on the surface of the stone as shown in the image. After finding a lime plaster underneath the enamel layer instead of a stone surface in many testing areas, the team decided to investigate this lime plaster. For this, a small patch of exposed lime plaster was removed by the conservators. The removal of lime plaster from lower section of the temple exposed the beautiful stone carving as shown in the image. Also, it was confirmed that the stone structure was constructed with the local sandstone found in the region. Another problem on the plaster, such as efflorescence, was noted in many areas. Efflorescence is the white crystalline substance which appears on the surface of the stone due to the presence of soluble salts such as sulfates of sodium, calcium, and magnesium. After conducting various tests, it was decided that the lime plaster covering the stone surface should be removed, whereas in the other areas the stone will be cleaned with solvent and mechanical technique. It was found that in some areas plaster was applied directly on the stone, causing further damage. The cement tends to be hard and impervious, allowing water to trap in the stone where it can then freeze and expand, damaging both the stone and the cement mortar. Hence, it was decided to remove such cement repairs. Bamboo scaffolding was erected to reach the top of the temple as iron scaffolding was not available in the region. The conservation treatment to clean the stone surface of enamel paint was initiated from the top, starting from Amlaka and Shikhar. The removal of plaster layers from the surface of the mandapa walls was executed simultaneously. The cleaning method for the removal of the enamel and other unwanted deposits on the stone surface was continued according to its incrustation level. With the use of solvents, the chemical bonding of the enamel or the lime layer were weakened or softened. This soft deposit was removed mechanically with the help of scrapers, followed by pouring of water to remove any chemical residue. Small particle deposited on the stone surface was removed by scrubbing method with the help of soft brush. In some areas, tapping method was used to remove the hard incrustation. With the help of water pressure cleaning method, the stone surface was cleaned repeatedly from top to bottom of the temple, revealing the original carved stone after removal of plaster during the conservation treatment. This cleaning method was used both in exterior and interior side of the temple. These are some comparative images showing the cleaning work done on the stone surface, showing stone carvings and stone figures hidden under the paint layer on the shikhar area of the temple. Some images taken from the Nandi sculpture showing how the paint layer were applied on the stone surface that affected the aesthetic appearance of the sculpture. Now we will see the process of removal of plaster from the mandap walls. It will also help us to understand how carefully the removal of the plaster was executed to reveal the carvings hidden underneath. To illustrate further, this is a context image of a section of a wall. A detail of an area with the plaster is selected, followed by the same detail area with thick plaster removed. Removal of plaster within the carvings was conducted with micro chisels by conservator or restorers. Going close to the detail area shows the stone carving. Following images shows the appearance of the stone surface of the cleaning process. During the removal of the lime plaster, the team observed few structural cracks and gaps in some areas of the temple structure. This was brought to the notice of the concerned authorities and structural consultation was taken from civil engineers and architects. We found that on 4th April 1905, an 8 magnitude earthquake in the region had caused severe damage to the buildings around, including the temple of Sh.Bhutnath. It was also found that the roof of the mandap was made of cement plaster as the original structure was destroyed during the earthquake. A previous attempt at repairing these structural cracks were noted, where the use of iron dolls was seen. Lime plaster was applied later to provide further strengthening to the structure. With confirmation from our consultants that the temple structure is stable and does not need any major structural treatment, it was decided that the gaps will be filled with original lime plaster, which included lime, sand, brick powder, pulses, fibers, etc. And the areas with the structural cracks will be stabilized with modern doweling or stitching method using stainless steel rods. Although marble stone was provided over the original flooring as an offering to the temple by devotees, it was posing serious issues in the structure of the temple. The laying of such a floor restricted the movement of free flowing water through the original channels provided previously, and also it was leading to capillary action of the water which was rising up the walls of the temple. There was another concern which the local authorities brought to light, that the marble flooring was very slippery and the devotees often fell while going around the temple doing parikrama, especially after rains. During an investigation, an area of 2 feet by 2 feet of the marble flooring was removed as a testing sample, and it was found that the original flooring of the temple was made of sandstone blocks. With orders from temple authorities and necessary permissions from INTACH administration, the second phase of the project to remove the marble flooring was initiated from the rear of the temple. The marble slabs were carefully removed using digging bars and iron chisels while making sure that the minimum damage is caused to the original stone blocks. In some places, the marble slab, along with the cement plaster, was adhered to the original stone block, as shown in the image. These stone blocks were carefully separated and were reused for the flooring. During this phase, there were some areas where either the stone blocks were missing or were damaged, as shown in the images. In such areas, a similar type of sandstone was procured and laid for the flooring. The leveling of the floor was done by experienced masons under the observation of conservators as shown in the images. A marble bench was noted adjoining to the northern side of the mandapa wall. When the marble slab was removed from it, a thick layer of cement was found covering the original sandstone bench underneath it, which was restored. A comparative image showing an area before the marble flooring on the left and the image on the right shows the sandstone flooring after the restoration work. As mentioned earlier, this temple is dedicated to Lord Shiva, where people offer milk and water on the shivling as a part of their daily rituals. This liquid poured on the shivling is considered as sacred water in Bhutnath temple. Therefore, channelized to the river Byas through a special and a separate water channel for easy outflow. A small area was provided outside the sanctum for collection of flowing water and milk. This later addition had blocked the original water channel, and the liquids, after filling this small pit, would overflow and spread to different areas, causing seepage in the structure. The team consulted local engineers and carefully excavated the original water channel system, which got damaged due to previous modern intervention. The team found the pipeline level used for the water channel was above the ground level at some places, as shown in the diagram. Also, the junction from where the pipeline gets connected to the main line connecting to River Byas was also above the ground level. The team rectified the water channel pipe connecting the mandap and the water pool made for the liquids coming out from the Garbhagriha area as shown in the images. The depth of the pit was increased as shown in the images, and the pipes were placed below the ground level, gradually sloping downwards so that the water flows unhindered without causing any blockage as indicated in the diagram. The restoration of the water pool made sure that the required amount of the water stays in the pool and the excess water gets drained out. The Havan Kund, which is located along the peripheral wall of the temple complex, was plastered and painted. The thick layer of amorphous carbon or soot produced during the Havan rituals was visible on the surface of the wall and the ceiling. The heat generated during the Havan and Yagya caused peeling of the plaster from ceiling and wall. This area was also treated by carefully removing the plaster and the soot deposit. The stone joints were treated with key-shape pointing method. The damaged stone pinnacle on the top of the Havan Kund was restored to its original form with the help of stone epoxy resin to join the broken pieces. Vegetational growth did not affect the main temple structure. However, growth was noticed on the Havan Kund structure, which would have caused structural damage in the future. Herbicide was used for removal of the plant growth. At the entrance of the temple complex, an unauthorized water tank was made. This was removed and the wall was conserved back to its original look. The temple authority wanted us to work on the lighting of the temple complex. For this, the team suggested few modern lighting techniques using LED lights for fulfilling the required luminescence and to enhance the beauty of the temple. The electrical lines were laid underground and the lights fixed were placed strategically around the temple complex. The lighting brought back the aesthetic beauty of the temple structure at night. The team found number of challenges during this project. Initially, the locals didn't appreciate the approach of removing the enamel layer as they were not aware about the harm caused by it. With local awareness program, people were made aware about the harm of enamel paint on stone surfaces and other alterations done on historic structures. Another challenge for the team was to set up a temporary conservation lab and to find conservation material in the town. An on-site temporary conservation lab was made and the conservation materials were brought from Delhi. The team found it very difficult to find trained or skilled laborers for the intensive work. We organized a 10-day training session for the laborer wherein they were trained in handling specific tools and work with solvents. Only after this session they were assigned the work on site. As water was required regularly and that too in large quantity, the team installed a temporary water tank for this purpose. Mandi town is situated in upper Himalayan range and to operate in this territory during the rainy and the winter season was very difficult. The biggest challenge for the team was to ensure that the daily rituals went unhindered and the safety of the devotees while the work was going on. For this, the team planned its execution area by area with temporary barricading and coverings. Now, I will share some of the comparative images of conservation restoration work executed at Sh.Bhutnathtemple. We would like to acknowledge the district administration of Mandi town for providing the funds and for providing local support. Also, we would like to thank people of Mandi for their generous donation for the successful completion of the project and of course the entire team of INTACH. INTACH Conservation Institute are located at different parts of the country and are dedicatedly working on conservation and restoration of various forms of art objects which ranges from paintings, textile, wooden objects, stone objects, miniature paintings, paper and wall paintings. For further information, the details of the centers are provided here. Please share and like this video. Also subscribe our channel for information on conservation of different art forms that requires scientific expertise in conservation and restoration.